Comeback player of the year, and I think we pretty much established this goes down to either Adrian Peterson or Peyton Manning. So I believe I started with...
He started with me on this one.
On the last one? So we go to Eric on this one. I believe we agreed that's pretty much your two options, Adrian Peterson or Peyton Manning.
I think you can make an argument for either, honestly, but in my mind, it's got to go to Peterson just from coming back from a knee injury. I mean, a knee injury is a little different than a neck injury. Neck can be more serious because, let's face it, it's, you know, your whole upper body can be affected by your neck. Everything can be affected by your throwing motion. It could affect your shoulders.
Well, he didn't
I
even
look
have
at it
feeling
as though,
in his fingertips
yeah,
at
exactly.
one point.
So both had a major effect on what they're able to do, and both came back in an amazing way. But I look at Peterson, the way he's been able to run the ball, and it seems like as the season's going on, he's getting better and better and better with every week. Where I still see Peyton Manning, like last week, he made some mistakes.
Yes.
So I still think there's a little bit of growing pains there in Denver. You know, they are 5-3, and the Vikings have been a surprise team so far to this point in the season. I mean, they started the season as hot as anybody else. They were leading that division for a little while until, you know, the Bears stepped up and took dominance.
Stayed dominant. I mean, 7-1. I'm shocked at that.
Yeah, I just look at Adrian Peterson and I say by the end of the year, this guy could be a guy who can lead the league in rushing, where Peyton Manning is probably, even though he's going to have a great year, probably going to be 5 or 6 when it comes to statistics as far as quarterbacks go.
Okay. Well, so Adrian Peterson is your guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Adrian Peterson over Peyton Manning, yes.
Okay.
Well, I think, you know, obviously you can't argue with Adrian Peterson, but I think the one thing, I think the difference between the two of these guys in terms of the injury is when you look at it, Adrian Peterson had, in my eyes, a more established track record of being able to absorb injuries that would put down others for longer periods of time. He's older now than when he used to do this, but if you look at his first 2 years in the league, he was battling a lot of knee injuries at the time. I'm going to be honest, I can't remember the exact type of injuries, but I do know it was situations where he would go into games with people not knowing if he was going to be able to play, and he'd still reel off 100-yard games, stuff like that. So I feel like Adrian Peterson was slightly better equipped to come back, if I'm wording that right. And I think also the difference is, I think the neck injury I do think is a harder injury to come back for than the ankle injury, because with the neck injury you have to worry about taking a big hit and being paralyzed. I think, you know, as much as that may be over dramatic a little bit, I do think you have to worry about that, especially Peyton's case, where he's learning a new offense, an unfamiliar to him offensive line blocking for him, and just having to go back on the field, and he missed an entire season. Adrian Peterson was injured at the end of last season, but he still tried to play through it when he got hurt, if I'm not mistaken. So to me, I think Peyton's comeback is a little more impressive, because as much as Adrian Peterson has seemingly not missed a beat, and Peyton has made his mistakes, in many ways Peyton has shown no real rust from missing that entire season. He came back, and, you know, as much as he's had to play catch-up a lot of the time, I do think you're still seeing the Peyton Manning of old, simply in a different uniform. And I just think what he's done for that team, I just think you have to go with Peyton here, just based on the severity of the injury he suffered, the fact that at one point you did wonder if it was going to be career-threatening to him, and just the fact that he hasn't missed one game yet, and he's still going basically the way he was like when he was in Indy. So, and like I said, I think Adrian Peterson has an established track record of being able to come back from this type of injury, which I think hurts him in this argument.
All right, well, I think, look, I don't think you can go wrong either which way. I really just don't. I mean, AP with the torn ACL to be a running back and come back and perform and do what he did. I mean, the first run of the game against Seattle last week, I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
But the simple fact of the matter is, Peyton Manning wins awards. It's just what he does. In comparison, where Adrian Peterson only missed the last 3 games, I think it was, of the NFL
Something
season.
like that, yeah.
Peyton Manning missed an entire year. And I think that when you look at an award like Comeback Player of the Year, that's something that will weigh into the decision of it. Is that AP? I mean, let's be serious here. I don't care what injury you're talking about. Both injuries are serious, but they're different effects. Where Peyton Manning literally could have lost the ability, from what I heard, of being able to feel in his hands. Mm-hmm. Now, was he going to lose the ability of using his hands? No, but he also would have not been able to feel, so just grabbing stuff, I couldn't imagine something that simple, and you take it for granted every day, but he ran the risk of losing that. So that's why, to me, you missed an entire year, that kind of surgery, that kind of impact on who you are. I think Peyton Manning ends up coming away with this award. And Mike, I finally agreed with you.
Thank you.